Well, I'm back, and I tried to rearrange my camera angle and show you that I am actually in an apron. However, I was unable to rearrange my camera angle once I started taping. Pretty odd. So what you see in front of you is a bowl, and in the bowl is what is a batter. And you can see the foam along the sides of that bowl, and you can see that it's all foamy. That's what you're looking for. Now, this batter has been out for about 14 hours, and what we're going to do next is pull a starter out so that I can put that back in the refrigerator so the next time I want to make sourdough I have a starter. So you can see that I've pulled the starter out and I have it in a jar right here. Now I keep it in a mason jar in my refrigerator. I put the lid on mostly tight but not super tight. It's important once you pull the starter to get it into the refrigerator. Sourdough does grow. I wouldn't recommend mailing liquid sourdough or flying with it for that matter. I gave some to some friends of mine and they took it home with them and it had exploded in their suitcases as they were traveling. So I don't recommend that you take it this way. Take it in a dried format. So the way I get my starter is I will take and put 2 cups of flour and 2 cups of warm water in a bowl and stir that together. Then I take the sourdough from my refrigerator, or I may have put it on the counter and let it come to room temperature, and I pour that into this batter mixture. I cover it with a kitchen cloth. I use one of these white cloths, and I cover it making sure it's in a non-drafty area, and I let it sit overnight. And the batter, once I pull the sourdough out, this is now ready to do stuff with. So this is what a sourdough batter should look like. And you see how it's kind of gloopy? As you can see, it's kind of stringy. That's really what you're looking for in a good sourdough batter. So we will proceed to making sourdough cookies, but this would be what you would make your pancakes with. So you now have your pancake batter. Add some eggs, some flour, and then a mixture of baking soda, salt, and a little bit of warm water. I add some sugar to it and mix that all up. You can add things. My brother adds cinnamon and some other spices to his pancake mix. Remember that sugar sours the sourdough and baking soda sweetens it. Now, one last thing I wanted to tell you is if I were going to dry some of the sourdough before I put anything into the sourdough itself, I would actually take some of this and spread it out onto some parchment paper, put it on a cookie sheet, stick it in my oven. Don't forget it's in your oven, cook something. But put it in my oven and let it dry. It takes a couple of days to dry depending on how moist the air is and stuff. But it will dry up nice and crunchy, and it will look very similar to this. So this is dried sourdough. I always keep some of it on hand, and what that allows me to do is if I have issues with my sourdough and problems with the sourdough, I can take some of this, put it in a bowl with some flour and water and sugar, and let it sit overnight. It'll start to condense. I'll throw half of it away, add more flour, more warm water, and let it sit again. And I'll probably have to do that 3 or 4 times before it turns into a good enough batter to be usable. And never pour your sourdough batter that you're throwing away down the sink. I always put it in a Ziploc bag and throw it away because it can become cement-like, so don't throw it down your kitchen sink.